Hey guys, welcome back to etlqalabs. Today I have got a good news for you because today I'm going to start the ETL testing session. I think most of you were waiting for the ETL testing understanding how it works, and you wanted to see the practical demo so that you can also get understanding, and that can be very helpful for you to crack the interviews, right, as a ETL tester. So we will start from today, and I think there will be a couple of sessions that you need to understand, and I will take you through. And don't worry about that. I think I will be taking it from very basic level. I think just try to understand it. And before that, I have covered some of the Unix and Linux command related videos. I think you should or you must go through all of them because when we talk about ETL, it is not only ETL tool or ETL processes. It also has to do with multiple other surrounding system, right? So, for example, if you have the file as a source or target system, then you have to deal with huge number of files or huge size of file, right? In that case, you have to deal with the Unix command, right? That is the reason I have covered that. And also you need to understand the SQL, right? So wherever you go, in ETL world, you need to know the SQL. Not only, when you deal with the source and target, there are SQL commands that are going to be used within the ETL process also. So I think I am not covering right now the SQL part. I assume that you are already aware of it. But if you think that you need some basic SQL understanding also, comment on this video. Then I will be able to make some of the videos later point of time. Okay. But for now, I think we should really start what we do as part of ETL tester and what is our roles and responsibility on daily basis, right? So all those things we will cover. All right. So as this is the very first video, we will try to understand little bit theory and little bit concept, because once you understand the concept, it will be very easy for you to understand the entire journey of this ETL testing world. Okay. So let's quickly cover the agenda today. So agenda for today is what is ETL and what are the available tools in the market. Then what are the components of Informatica Power Center? So we are actually going to cover the Informatica Power Center as part of a ETL tool, which is very popular in the market. And I think that most of the companies are using the Informatica Power Center. That is the reason I think everyone should know at least one of the ETL tool in in order to work on ETL testing, right? So hence I have chosen the Informatica Power Center, one of the most popular tool in the market. So we will discuss what are the components of the Informatica Power Center. Then also we will cover what are the common components that we are using as part of ETL QA engineer on day-to-day basis. Okay. And we will after that we will cover the Informatica transformations. So what are the different transformations? We will try to understand what are the transformations, and then what are the active and passive transformation. All right, and then we will see the practical demonstration of using one of the transformation. We will actually create one of the ETL job, okay, and then we will see it, okay, how do we do the testing aspect of it, okay, and then there is a case study that we will be looking at the end of the session, okay. All right, guys. So let's quickly go cover the theory part and the concept, and then we will be following the practical things. Yeah. So what is ETL tool? So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Okay. So these are the three different processes that any of the ETL tool does, right? So it actually extract the data from source systems. So source systems can be multiple source systems. It can be homogeneous or heterogeneous, right? So homogeneous, when I say, it can be a same kind of source systems. For example, we have the database relational sources. multiple sources which are coming, which are as a relational databases. So those are called the homogeneous, and heterogeneous when you have the source systems, multiple different source system, like let's say SAP, or you have the flat file, or you have the databases. So multiple source systems are there together. In that case, source systems are called the heterogeneous sources. Okay, so source can be anything. So what ETL does is it basically extract the data from all the sources which you defined as part of your extract, and then obviously the most critical and more core component of ETL is the transformation, right? So you have to do the transformation, and you have to apply multiple rules on that particular data, right, before you load into target, right? So target is the final landing zone. That's where you are loading all the data. So the other three different steps that any of the ETL tool performs. So we will be covering the ETL tool uh, as Informatica tool. Informatica tool is a very powerful ETL tool, and we will try to cover that, right? So right now in the market, I think there are various popular tools. So one of them is Informatica Power Center. Then you have got the IBM Data Stage. We have the tool from Microsoft that is called SSIS, and also from Oracle, right? So Oracle Data Integrator. These are the four ETL tools. I think there are multiple free tools, or I think open source tools which are available in the market, but these are most important tools which are supported by all these companies, and they have the active support on them, right? So that's the reason companies mostly prefer to use all this license tool, right? Because they get the support whenever they need, right, in terms of any kind of migration activity, etc. And there is always, updates which is happening, that also you will come to know, and these are very reliable tool. That's why people are using. It's not that open source tools are not reliable, but the thing is you will not get active support, because you only have to check it out for any issues or any exceptions, right? All right, so let's go to the second one. What are the components of the Informatica Power Center, right? So Informatica has two components mostly. One is the Informatica Power Center server, as you see here, Power Center server, and then you have Power Center client. Okay. In Power Center server, we have two services. One is the integration service, other one is repository service. All right. So in the server, what we do is the integration service. Integration service is actually responsible to execute the job, and it is also responsible to communicate between multiple uh, systems, right, within the Informatica Power Center. So it basically reads the data from the source system and it moves from one to other stage, right? So this is the job of integration services. And then you have the repository services, right? So repository services is basically interact between repository database, right? So repository database is, that's where you are keeping all your when you are creating a jobs, and all the jobs are getting stored, right? So that can be a database, right? So in our case, we are actually configured with the Oracle database, right? So that's a repository, and the repository services is working on top of that repository, right? So which manages the data, data related services. Okay, and then we have got the client, right? So Informatica client. So Informatica clients, as you see here, so Informatica client has four component: Power Center Designer, Power Center Repository Manager, Workflow Manager, and Workflow Monitor. So briefly, the designer is basically used to create ETL jobs. Okay, so there are multiple, what you subcomponents that we will see within the designer. So designer is the one of the most important, what do you say, the tool that developers are using for developing the ETL jobs, right? And then obviously the repository manager. So repository manager is, that's where we are actually creating the repositories, and we can also we can also, create the folder, etc. Not repositories, I will say. We are actually creating the folders, etc. Right? So that's where those are the repository manager. And then once the job is ready, we have to make it, in runnable format. That job, right? So for that we are using the workflow manager. That's where we are creating the workflow before we run the job, and after running the job, we can monitor the success or failure in the workflow monitor, right? So, so these servers are basically one-time job, which are normally handled by the Informatica admin. But mostly the developer and tester are working on the client part. And more specifically, I think testers are working on to the workflow manager, workflow monitor. I mean, I would say all of them basically. Yeah. So this is the client part that tester and developer are working mostly. All right. So they're the component. I hope this is making sense to you. Just try to understand what are the components here. I will anyway show you the practical demonstration, and once you start working on them, you will come to know. All right. Now, let's see what are the transformation, right? So as I said that ETL is extract, transform, and load, right? So second part is the transform. Transform, what are the transform, right? So transform is basically the data transformation. So what data, what kind of rule you want to apply on that particular data. So for example, if you have something called filter transformation, right? So filter transformation, what it does, it basically filters out the data which we really don't want to load in the target, right? Because source can have anything, but you obviously don't want certain data, so you want to use the filter transformation, right? So transformations are the predefined in utilities that you can say, uh, something like, functions in language, right? Programming languages, methods or functions that we are using, right? So it is similar to that only. You just understand that because they are predefined already. You just need to configure and use, right? So there are two type of transformation mostly. So one is the active transformation. Active transformation means the number of rows which are getting inside the transformations and the output number of records getting output, both are not equal. So there are certain filterage happening. So for example, source qualifier, here you see source qualifier and the filter transformation. These are, active in nature because the number of row which are getting entered into these transformations are always lesser, uh, are always more than the number of records getting out. Okay. And then there is a passive transformation. So passive transformation, we do not deal with the number of records. We do certain different kind of operation, all of them. So for example, the number of records which are getting in equal to number of records getting out. So that is the passive transformation. It doesn't change the number of records, all right? But it does something else, but not the number of record will be same, right? So for example, there will be expression transformation, right? So you would like to segregate the first name and last name into two different fields, but actually you are actually segregating the data, right? Substring, you are using substring, but then the number of records will be same only, all right? So these are the active and passive transformations. Now let's go to source qualifier and filter transformation case study. Okay, so this is the most important thing that I wanted to tell you, right? So we have multiple transformation, but today we will talk about in this case study we are using the source qualifier and filter transformation. Okay, so for those who don't know source qualifier and filter transformations, please let me know if you don't understand. I can create a separate video on source qualifier and filter transformation again, right? Now I'm covering here the case study that we are going to use. But obviously I can cover some basic things also on the source qualifier and filter transformations. Hope this is making sense to you. So we have a case study, like we have two relational sources named employee and department table, right? Two tables, and we would like to load matching data based on the department number from N. Also exclude the employee belonging to department number 40, right? So, all right, what we will do is we will straight go back to my designer. Okay, this is what I have done, right? So based on this case study, what I have done is I have taken employee table and I have taken the department table. Okay, you see here, and so employee number. So here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to join this two table, okay, based on the department number, so that I can also fetch the department name in my target table, right? So I would like to do the equijoin between these two, okay? That I'm going to perform in the source qualifier. So source qualifier, what it does, source qualifier basically is a default transformation that comes when you import the source, right? So for example, when I imported table, when I imported this particular employee table, then I got the source qualifier. I have removed one of the source qualifier from the department table because both are the relational database, right? Both are the table from the same database, right? That is the reason I just wanted to use the joining condition here, equijoin or the inner join. That's the reason I removed it. And these ports I have pulled it here. Okay. So let's see what is configured here in this, right? So the source qualifier of employee. I would like to see the query, right? So you see this is the SQL query. This will be automatically generated when you pull it and you say the generate SQL, it will generate it. All right, and then you can validate. So for now I have validated already here, right? So you see that these two tables structure are coming. Now if you see that clearly, it is basically doing a equijoin or the inner join here based on the department number. And what I'm taking from employee table, I'm taking employee number, employee name, employee salary, employee number. And from department table, I'm taking department name. Okay, here. All right. And I'm matching whether if both the department number are same, then only I'm taking, right? So if there is no matching between these two department number, from the employee and department, then I'm not taking that, right? So that is getting filtered out. All right. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm performing the equijoin here. So here, guys, I have used source qualifier because these are the relational sources. So we can use the the inner join here. Next transformation is the filter transformation. So my another requirement says that I should exclude the employee which belongs to department number 40, right? This is one of my requirement. So I have used the filter transformation here, guys. You see here. And again, I'm taking all the ports here. When I say ports, basically, ports are nothing but the columns, right? The columns that I'm using. Okay. I'm just trying to explain it first, and then after that I will talk about the testing bit. Okay, how does it fits into this? So I have taken the employee number from EMP table and then department number, department name from department table. All right. I have not taken this because these are both of them I am doing the joining, so it doesn't matter to take the department number one, right, from the department table. All right. Now I am using the filter transformation. If you see the property, uh, I have defined this department number should not be 40. So I am actually filtering this condition, right? So this basically will filter the department of 40. It will actually filter out. So anything which is not having department number 40 will go forward, right? So this is the final target table, right? So final target table will have all the data, matching data, except department number 40's data. All right. So So guys, this is the case study, right? I think we have coded this case study. I have just created it because I wanted to show you really quick, because our idea is to, you know, show it from the testing point of view, right? So this is the reason I have already created it before only, so that we can save time, little bit time, right? So now guys, once you create this mapping, right? So this is the job of the developer. We are not doing it at part of tester, right? So this job is done by developer. And what he does, he also, so he will go to, so as I said, right? So repository manager, if you see here, right? So this is called repository manager. This is designer, this is workflow manager, this is workflow monitor. I explained you in my video, right? So if I can go back, the other client, right? Sorry, one second. So these are the client tools, right? So all of these four tools. Okay, this is what here, right? Now what I have done is, so this is the workflow manager. Okay, so this is workflow manager. In workflow manager, what I have created, I have created a workflow. Okay, and before that, okay, so what is this called is, this is called mapping. Okay, mapping is, this is the job that you have already coded. This is most important thing. And then you have to run this, right? It will not run by its own. So you have to, for running this job, so that it can actually fetch the data, and then from these two tables, and it can load into target. You have to run the job. So for running the job, we have to create a workflow. So you see, we have to go to workflow designer. That will come inside the workflow manager. So I have created a workflow designer here, and this is the session. That session I have created, and if you see this session is actually linked to, this session is linked to to the mapping that we have created. This mapping, okay. So case study one. This is the mapping, right? And in workflow manager, I have created it. All right. So now, one second, guys. Let me check it. Okay. Okay, guys. So this is what it is, right? So if you see it, this is configured, right? Source qualifier, filter transformation. You can see all of the detail here, right? Also, okay. And you can also see this is the configuration, certain configuration that you have to do, right? The source, then target, and then this is the transformation that we are using. Okay. So now what we will do is we will run this. Okay. And before that, I would like to go to target, and I would like to see if I have any data in target or not. Select star from mm, char dep tgt. One second, guys. Sorry. TGT, this is my schema, and then I would like to say EMP underscore TGT. This is my target, okay? So I can see there are 6 records right now. I would like to delete all of them for now. EMP TGT. I think I am in the same schema, so I can run it, not a problem, okay? Now there is no record, okay? No record. Now after running this, I should be getting certain records, all right? So let me go there and let me run it. Start workflow. Now you should go to workflow monitor to see how the job is running, right? So you can see it. This is already in progress. Okay. So this is workflow monitor, right? So that's where you can monitor what is happening. Is it succeeding? It is failure or something? You can also check the logs, etc. that it will generate here. Okay. It has succeeded. Okay. Succeeded means we will come to know, all right, whether the data is loaded, and then we can check it. You see, guys, this has loaded the data. So how many records are there? We have records, 6 records. Okay. Why 6 records? Let me check how much is coming from the source. Okay, so let me see, select star from a, okay, I think source table is in different hr dep.emp. Okay, so you see there are 9 records here. Let me try to see that also. So when I say select star, okay, I don't want to say select star. Maybe I can say, okay, emp dot enumber, emp dot ename, emp dot sal, emp dot department number from hr dep.emp. Okay, I got it. Now I would also like to do one thing. I would like to check dpt dot department dpt name. Okay, all right, and then I will say here I'm just going to perform. Okay, I think I can take it from here, isn't it? I think I can take the same query from here because I'm already using it, right? So I can take this query. I think this will be working. Okay, so I can simply just take it and run it and see what's coming here, right? That's important. Okay, guys, so let me, but okay, I have to modify a little bit here, okay, because I'm not in the source, right? I'm not in the source schema. So what I have to do, I have to use it hr underscore dep dot something like this, and here also I have to use the same thing. Rest everything is fine. So let me try and okay, all right, guys. Okay, perfect. So let me try again. Select star from emptgt. This is different schema, right? So you see the previous record is giving 8 record, but then the output same thing, right? Same thing I'm getting here in the output. So it is giving 6 record. Any idea why it is? Yes, because got it. Because we are actually filtering the 40 record number 40 also, right? So that is called department number 40, right? So here you see here the filter transformation that we are using it. You see here. So if I try to say in the same query, all right, I can use it at the end only, okay? And dept number, okay, dept dot dept number. All right, guys, 1 second. Dept number equal to 40. Okay, not equal to 40, right? Not equal to 40. So you see, guys, we got exactly the same record. So this is from target and this is from the source. All right. So this is how you can check, right? But see, we can see here the actual record, but in actual testing or in the test environment, we have huge number of records in at least in millions or some a lot of records, right? In that case, you cannot really use it. So what you can do is we will see that what all the things that we can do, right? So hope you understand this concept, right? So the data is loaded in target. Finally, whatever we wanted, we are actually putting in the transformation, and then the final data is loaded into target. So this is how all the ETL tools are working, right? So this is the basic thing. So extracting the data from these two sources, transforming based on these needs, right? These two are the transformation, and then loading into the target table. So this transformation will be, it can be very complicated as well, right? So based on the use cases, we might have to use multiple transformations together, right? But this is the simplest one that I'm trying to explain you so that you get the understanding how it is working. All right. So again, I'm saying that if you're not comfortable with the SQL query, I think you must try to learn the SQL query. Or you also comment on the video so that I can also make some videos related to the topic. You tell me what topic you need to understand. I will create a separate video for you so that you will also understand that, right? Because I know that these SQLs are very simple, but who doesn't know anything about SQL, difficult for them to understand. So I can create a video, or you also can go through some, tutorials or some links that you can learn it from there. All right, guys. So this is how it is. So this job is done. Now what we will do is as part of testing. So that is the most important thing, right? So what we do as part of testing. Okay, what is happening? Let me remove it. Something wrong. All right. Okay. So as part of testing, so this is the workflow monitor and everything is done. Now, what you will be given as part of ETL testing, right? So you will be said that, boss, see what we have done is we have this particular scenario and we have implemented a ETL job, right? So for example, the name of the ETL job is WAF underscore case study one. Okay, this is the ETL job. Now, can you please go and validate whether the data is, correct and the, everything is working as expected as per design document or as per our data lineage sheet or the mapping document, right? So mapping document is basically a document which will tell you what is source, what is target, what's the transformation that we are using, right? So all those things will be, so every bits and pieces of these details will be there in the mapping document, right? So as part of tester, what we do actually, first thing that we do, very first thing, right? What we do is we actually we actually check the objects are having appropriate data type and size. So what we will do is we will see that, in the target table, right? So these are the target table. So for example, we have the source and target table, and then we will go and check whether the data size and data type is same, right? So two ways to do it. One thing is that you can do is you can say DESC EMP underscore TGT, okay, and then you will see that what is the size of this particular for the columns, right, that are here. Now I will also check. Okay, now you see this is number, name is varchar 30, and there also 30. Here salary is again number, department is again number. Okay, all right. And something called interesting is department name that is there in the target table. So in the source table we are covering under DPT. Okay, so here 20, but here it is 30. Here it is 40. So you know what? The source can have the lower number of, lower size, that is fine. But the target should not have the lower. So for example, if we have the target table, this particular table, if we have the department name as, let's say, varchar 10, then this is real problem because the data truncation will happen when you load it, right? The job will not fail, but actually you will not get the actual data, correct data, right? So this is very important thing. You also need to verify what is the data type and data size, right? So that is the first thing that you will check against your database, right? Go to database and check it. Another way to do is also, you can also do it from here. You see here, you can also do it from here. So you have to make sure here also in the mapping document, right? In the mapping document, you have to make sure the, for example, employee number, it's a number and length is 15. Okay. If I check it here in my target, it is 15. It should not be 10. I mean, the next, it should always be higher, right? So cannot be lesser than this, right? So it cannot be 10 because here it is coming as a 15 and here you are putting a 10, which means some of the data might truncate, might get truncated, right? So similarly, we have to check for all of the ports, right? So these are columns, but in Informatica they are calling them as a port, right? So all the ports, henceforth I will also be calling as a port, right? So you just understand when I say port, they are nothing but they are columns, right? So you have to check the data size. Okay, what is the size that is coming in from here, and the important idea is it should not have the lower, size and the data type length basically. So these are length, right? So length should be higher only to the subsequent stages, right? So source to transform, source to target. All right. So this is what the second things that we are going to test here. Second, and then all right. And then also the transformation, right? If they are used accurately or not. So this is little bit of white box testing, right? So that I am telling you. So you might, certain cases you might not get the access to the mapping, right? But obviously if it is in your test environment, it is all yours, right? You can go and you can verify all of this because this is very important thing. So that is the reason I'm saying you need to understand what tool is doing, right? So you need to understand the functionality of the tool. Then most of the defects you can catch it here only without running the data workflow itself, right? So that is the reason I was telling you have to understand at least one of the ETL tool because all of the ETL tools are working on the same concept. They have extract, transform, and load, right? All three stages. So now what we will do is, so in the mapping document, they will also mention that what are the transformation they are going to use and what is the usage of it, right? So they will also in the case study, for example, they will not give you the case study, they will rather give you the mapping document, which is the Excel sheet format. And that's where they will say that which column is. So for example, they will also tell that in the source, department name is coming, but in the target, what we want, we do not want department name. We need the field name as D name only, right? But this is nothing but the department name that is coming from the department. So you have to map it accordingly, right? So this kind of document mapping when you say, right? So they will say one port to other port, how it will be mapped from source to target, right? So that detail will be there, and also they will be giving the detail about the transformation, what exactly transformation they are going to use, what is the purpose of it, and all those things, right? So based on that, you have to verify whether there is a filter transformation. For example, they will mention that it should not it should exclude the department number 40 data, and hence you have to understand that and try to see whether they are implementing this particular requirement in this particular transformation or not, right? So all those kind of, so little bit of white box testing, but then I think it will come handy when you start working on it. Okay, so this is the second checks that we will do in ETL, right? ETL testing. Third thing that what we will do is the most important thing, right? So we actually have to validate. So these two things, checking the database objects, right? And the second one is the checking the transformation itself. Uh, we can actually check this too without running the workflow itself, right? Which means without running the job itself, we can check it. There is no problem, right? So because we can directly check from the database here, we are actually not going to verify. We are not going to verify the data here. We are just checking what is the size and what is the the data type, etc. And here also we are just checking the mapping document, right? Whether the implementation is correct or not as per the requirement or as per the mapping document. All right. So now what we will do is the third level of testing that we are going to do is it's data centric testing. That is called data centric testing. Okay. In data centric testing, what we are going to do is we are going to check the actual row count. So couple of things that I would like to tell you what are the things that you have to check, right? So first thing that you have to check is the row count. Row count between source and target should be matching, right? So in this case, since this is a passive transformation, no, sorry, this is the active transformation because we have used the filter and source qualifier transformation, right? So what will happen is this is the active this is the active, yes, active transformation. So now what will happen is in the active transformation, the row number of rows in the target will always be lesser, than the uh, source, right? So for example, okay, so this is what we have the source, right? In the source, let me just show you here. Okay, I will just show you the count from, we can do it like this, count star from emp underscore tgt. All right. So this is 6. Okay. And when I say the source, which is hr dep dot, so you see here it will be 9 records, right? So this will not match always. So that is the reason you have to consider all the transformations also, as I said you before, as I shown you before, right? So if you are saying this, then it is 6, right? Because we have already considered all of them here. So for example, if you want to take the count, you can say select count of star from. So in from, I can use this entire. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, I think I can do like this. Okay, wait, let me go back. So I can just get the count. Select count of star from. Okay, in from I can use the entire query. Something went wrong. Okay, I should have said count. Yeah, I missed the T. Okay, so you see the count we are getting as a 6 in the source also after using all this filter transformation and this inner join, right? So this is how we have to check. Okay, if it is a passive transformation, no need to do anything. You can simply get the count from source and target, and both should be matching. All right, this is the second thing that we will do, first thing that we will do as part of the data centric testing. Second check that we are going to perform, if and only if it is possible, because mm, most of the time source and target both are in the same database, right? It might have the different schema as we have here. So because here the target table is in this schema and source is in this schema, but they are essentially both of them are both of the tables are in the same, what do you say, in the same database. Yeah, sorry, one second. So let me go back and try to run the minus query, right? Minus query is one of the, I will tell you what is minus query first of all. So let me try to run it and then we will see how does it go, right? So no record selected, it is saying. Okay, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see whether employee number and employee name from the target table that is loaded, right? For now, the target table, employee name and employee number are having exactly the same data, right? So same data. If there is any difference in the data, any truncation in the the entire field value will also be reported here, which means if I am getting any record or any value, which means the data is not correct, right? So for example, if there is any extra row also loaded, so in this case, what I'm trying to ensure is here I'm trying to see there is nothing extra loaded in the target table. So this is giving you no record selected. In the other way around, what we will do is we will try to see. So what is this? This is the minus query that we are performing, target minus source. Okay. Now the next query that we will do is source minus target. Okay. So how we will do is source minus target. Source minus target is like this. Yeah. So we will take the source first and then we will say minus target. In that case, Okay, let me try. Okay, guys, let me try it. Here also no record, right? But one thing that I can do is just to show it, because this is the actual query. That's why we are getting means no records, which means everything is correct. Now let's say I remove this condition. Okay, we got two records here. You see why we got two records? I will tell you. So I'll also take deputy number. Sorry, DEPT. Okay, 1 second. HRDEP.emp DEPT number. Right, DEPT. All right. Something wrong here. Okay, maybe something here. Okay, EMP underscore TGT. Okay, guys, sorry. I think it's my bad. DEPT number. Okay. All right. So you see that the department number 40 is also coming here. And in the previous query, I tried to filter that out also, right? But in this case, I am not doing it. So source is having this 40 also, but target is only having uh, not 40, right? So that's the reason. When I say source minus target, then this extra which are filtered in target will also appear here, right? So this is what kind of testing that we have to do in ETL world, right? So this is, I just explained you some of the scenario, but then again you can go ahead and you can verify multiple tables using this minus queries, and also the counts based on. So in the real world there are lot of complicated SQL queries that we have to write, because we are going to use multiple what you say transformation, and every transformation has a different way, so we have to write the query carefully, right? So that is the reason I was saying that SQL is one of the most important skill to understand when you work in ETL testing, right? So I hope that guys, this really makes sense to you, and I hope that you really enjoy this video, and I will continue this complete session with some more videos, so that you will get more and more understanding. And again, I am saying that if you have not watched my Unix video, please go ahead and watch, because going forward I am going to use the Unix as a source system also, right? So that's where I will be referring all those commands, so you should be able to understand that. Okay. And okay, all right, guys. So I think this is what I had to cover today, and thank you very much for watching this. And yeah, do share these videos to your friends who really need to know the ETL testing, so that it can also help them to, um, grow them, or if they are already they are already searching for a job and all, then it can be helpful for them to crack the interviews also, right? So this sessions I'm covering in very detailed manner. I think that is the reason it will make more sense for you guys, right? So I will come up with the next set of transformation and use case. I hope this makes sense to you and you really like it. Okay, do comment if you need any other things, or if you're not able to understand few points, you just let me know. I will try to cover more and more basic if you need to do, right? So this is what I have to say. Thank you very much, and see you with the next video. Bye.